The Baltimore Ravens are heading to Dallas, to Big D, to Jerry World, to the billion-dollar play place to take on the Dallas Cowboys. 425 America's Game of the Week. We got Kevin Burkhardt, and we will hear Tom Brady on commentary. It's the Play Zone Podcast. Only place giving you your Ravens coverage and sports coverage. How you want it, when you need it. Week 3 already. We're going to break it all down for you. Give you my preview and predictions for the game, keys, injury report, look at everything in between, and give you my prediction of how I see this game playing out as the Ravens and Cowboys do battle. And Lamar Jackson, for the first time in his career, will play in Dallas at Jerry World. If you're watching this video right now, stick that subscribe button, stick that like button, go ahead and sack it. Make sure you bulldoze that bell to know when all videos drop. And join us this Sunday afternoon. Really, it'll be Sunday evening because it's a 4 o'clock game. The official Baltimore Ravens post-game show. You know the drill. We'll be recapping the game, good, bad, and ugly. Talking about it with you. We're on the Flex Zone podcast. Yet again, another week as we are in week 3 of the NFL season. Time is really, really flying. And it's going to be very, very interesting to see really how the season continues to progress. We know all the headlines. We know all the news. We know what happened last week, a 26-23 loss to the Raiders. Another double-digit lead blown in the fourth quarter for the Ravens. An opportunity to really examine. Blame is to go around. Everyone wants to fire Harbaugh. He deserves blame. Everyone wants to critique Zach Orr. He's young and he's up and coming. He deserves blame. The defensive players, they deserve some blame also. And as do players on the offensive side of the ball, the offensive line, the receivers dropping passes, Lamar Jackson. He doesn't necessarily deserve a lot of blame, but he, outside of really those 2 bad throws in Kansas City, the throw that was a toenail away from being a game-tying touchdown or going for 2 to win it, and the missed throw too likely early on in that drive, really. And if you want to say the missed throw to Flowers Bateman, so really 3 mistakes, because last week the interception really wasn't his fault, but he didn't really have to make that throw either, but Bateman should have caught it. But nevertheless, the Ravens are taking on the Cowboys. The Cowboys got embarrassed last week by the Saints, 44-19. Big shout out to the Saints. They look like they are for real with Clint Kubiak, son of former Ravens offensive coordinator Gary Kubiak. Shout out to everybody with the Saints and shout out to those players because they are balling early on in the season. But coming into this game, the Ravens are predominantly healthy on an injury standpoint. I believe Nate Wiggins did have the car accident last week. It looks like he is on track to be questionable, so he will probably play this week. You got who else they got? They had I think Ajabo was on the injury report, but he should be good as well. So the Ravens are predominantly healthy coming into this game, and that's a good sign for them because the question I want to see is what is the offensive line going to look like on Sunday afternoon? Are we going to have Rosengarten at right tackle finally with McCary? I don't know. I keep saying one or the other, but everyone wants to see him at right guard, Linderbaum at center, Voorhees at left guard, and of course Stanley at left tackle. And I think that's one of the keys as well. I think last week when they ran the ball well, it was because they were running to the left side behind running Stanley. I think that is going to be a key to see if they can really just utilize that ability of playing behind Stanley. He's probably been the best offensive lineman we've had. That is a low, low bar. But the Ravens are actually 1-point favorites. It's an over-under of 47.5. So Ravens are actually a road favorite. So very, very interesting with that. Nate Wiggins was on there. Kyle Hamilton, Jabo, and Deontay Hardy were all listed as questionable. Looks like they're all going to probably be on track to play. Rasheen Ali still on IR for the Cowboys. It looks like Trayvon Diggs, Jake Ferguson, Jalen Brooks, CD Lamb, Malik Hooker are all on there. They're all on track to play as well. So I'll be interested to see if we do get the debut of Adisa Isaac. If he, since he's not listed on the injury report, does he debut with having Vanoy, Ajabo, Owe with 2.5 sacks last week? Nnamdi Madubuike, what a great game he had. Him and Travis Jones. Travis Jones looks like he's going to have a breakout season. A lot of people like myself predicted. And Adisa Isaac could be a nice addition to that rotation of guys for the Ravens. But let's get to keys. It's simple. I'm not going to do too much with it. I think I could see it going either way. I thought coming into the season, this was a game the Ravens could have trouble with, but I also thought it was a game they could win. No, I don't think they're going to dominate like the Saints did or like the Packers did, because the last two home games, the Cowboys' defense has been embarrassed. The playoff game to the Packers and the home game this last week to the Saints. Now, the Ravens don't have the offensive line to score 40 and just dominate like that. But I think the first key is don't let Micah Parsons beat you. I had Max Crosby and Wilkerson in my keys, especially Max Crosby last week, one of my favorite players. He's a nonstop player. His motor's always at 110%. Don't let Micah Parsons beat you, please. I think Rosengarten is going to start. Double, chip, use your card. Do whatever you got to do, but do not leave Micah Parsons one-on-one. And if you do, get the ball out as quick as possible. Secondly, offensively, they're ranked number one. They're fourth in passing and seventh in rushing are the Ravens. Great to hear that. But they only scored 21 points a game. And only had, 23 last week? I think this team needs to be at around 25 to 28 points a game to really help out this defense and really be, I think, a team that's going to close out some of these games where they have a 10-point lead, where they have an opportunity to win and close out some of these games where the pressure may be on. And I kind of hope it's a situation on Sunday where they are in the lead, 10 points in the fourth quarter, and they have to close it out on the road in a hostile environment. Yeah, it'll be a lot of Ravens fans. A lot of people I know are going to be at the game enjoying it. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to go to Jerry World and see that beautiful, beautiful, monumental stadium. But you got to get it done. Third, Derrick Henry. I would like to see Derrick Henry get 20 touches and about 100 yards. He started getting going last game, had 84 yards. But remember, two crucial penalties. I think he had the false start one time. He would have gotten over 100. And I think he would have had a dominant end to the game to give us the win. You got to stay still, Derrick Henry. You can't have that penalty. Nextly, next. The offense. I would like to see the offense make a big play. A play over 30, a play over 40 yards. Lamar's longest pass of the season is only 49 yards, and that was likely doing what he did after the catch. I know we don't have the offensive line to hold up. It's going to take someone making a big play with a run after the catch situation, but maybe a screen from Zay Flowers, or maybe one of those bombs to Bateman for 30 yards, or Andrews are likely down the field for 30, 40 yards. Maybe Aguilar. Ja'Cory and Bennett knocked the ball out last week. That was a touchdown to Aguilar. I would love to see them make a big splash play, maybe one or two, one in the first half, one in the second half, of 30 to 40 yards, to really get this offense going, get the momentum. They're still figuring out their identity, but I think if they can run the football, especially to the left side, we may be able to take some shots with play action, maybe use that to our advantage. And they got to take shots. Even though you don't have the offensive line you would like, you can't do a 5 or 7 step drop. You got to try to do something. Get Lamar moving, use your speed that you have, throw it to these guys, and really try to stretch the defense out and keep them honest. Because what they're doing right now, and I think what Mike Zimmer's going to do a lot of against Lamar Jackson, is bring pressure. He is a very good defensive coordinator. He's going to utilize what the weaknesses of the Ravens. He's going to attack the offensive line. So I would expect a lot of blitzing from Mike Zimmer this week. Defensively, it's simple. I just said it last week with Devontae Adams, keep him under 75 or keep him under 100 yards. They didn't do it. CD Lamb, keep him under 100 yards because I think CD is just as good, if not better, than Devontae at this point in their career. And I think he is the real threat on the offense, and you got to keep him in check. You can't play one-on-one man coverage all game with Stevens or Humphrey. That's why I think having Wiggins back will help because you can move Humphrey inside, play a little more zone. Don't let guys get deep. Maybe some help over the top. Let's utilize Kyle Hamilton more. I would love to see that. But don't let CD beat you. Yeah, he's going to make his plays. He might get 50, 60 yards. but don't let him go for 100, 120 yards, beat you over the top for 2 and 3 touchdowns. You don't want to get into a track meet with the Cowboys. You don't want to get into a track meet. Yes, the Ravens do need to score 25 because I think the defense is going to not struggle, but I think you're going to have to really bring your track shoes because I think this is going to be a game that could potentially have some high scoring moments. Nextly on defense, keep them under 50 yards rushing. Zeke Elliott's there, Deuce Vaughn. They got who else they got? They got the one other running back. He's really not doing much. I want to get his name. I don't want to butcher the kid's name. Rico Dodwell. Yeah, they don't really have much at the running back position. Zeke is done, I think. He can maybe give you a play over there, get you something on goal line or short yardage, but keep them under 50 yards rushing. The running backs under 50 yards rushing because Dak may have a run or two for 10 or 15 yards and put them over 50. Keep the running backs under 50 yards rushing combined. Nextly, I talked about finishing on offense. Defensively, you got to finish. Get off the field on third down. We need those key, timely, close it out sacks like we see with Devon Miller, like we see with the TJ Watts. Ajabo, Owe, Jones, Matabike, Van Noy, Isaac. I don't know what Tavis Robinson is going to bring. Maybe Zach Orr switches it up. He went to high school, 20 to 30 minutes from where they're going to be playing, so it's a homecoming for him. Sure, you have a lot of friends and family. It's going to be hot in Texas. I've already heard it's very hot out there right now. We got people, soldiers on the ground in Dallas. It's hot. It's hot as hell. It's Texas. Bring the pressure. Use your nickel blitzes, use your corner blitzes, use your safety blitzes with Kyle Hamilton and some of those other guys to create and generate pressure to close out the game. Nextly, make Dak uncomfortable in the pocket. I think Dak is a pocket passer. He can move around, but he does his best work when he can sit back there, survey, go through his reads, and shred you. He's very accurate. He's very good with throwing the ball down the field. He can throw it vertically. Do not let Brandon Cooks, do not let Jake Ferguson, do not let some of these guys beat you over the top. Don't let Dak get too comfortable, and don't let him get in a rhythm because he can be a streaky quarterback. Special teams, no missed field goals. We've had one in each of the first 2 games. We've talked about that ad nauseum, video on the channel. Thankfully, it's indoors. The roof will probably be closed. I think Tucker will make whatever kicks he has this week. I'm going to ride with him at least one more week. Don't expect any long kicks, but I can see 40 on it. Jordan Stout, you had a tough week last week, and I do like you. But no janky punts. Get your net average where it needs to be. Put the ball down the field. Don't give these offenses short field to take advantage of it. So keys real quick. Don't let Michael Parsons beat you. Score 25 points or more. Derrick Henry over 100 yards. Offense make at least one play over 30 yards. Defensively, keep CD under 100 yards. Keep them under 50 yards rushing. Get off the field on third down. Make Dak uncomfortable in the pocket. Special teams, no missed field goals, and no janky punts. Like I said, before the season, I actually had the Ravens at about 2-2 after the first 4 games, losing to Kansas City, beating Vegas, losing to Dallas, beating Buffalo. So, however you want to play it out. Now, 0-3 would be the first time since 2015. No Super Bowl champion has ever started 0-3 and won the Super Bowl. Playoff numbers dwindle, we know that. But Dallas has been embarrassed at home a lot. I really don't see them losing 2 straight home games. Even though the Ravens could win this game, I wouldn't be surprised if they win on Sunday night. But I think Dallas is going to win this game. I think Dallas is going to win this game. I think the Ravens fall to 0-3. But although they start 0-3, I really don't think they're done yet. I think the AFC, I think the NFL as a whole, NFC included, is going to come down to those last 2 or 3 weeks, the back end of that schedule where everyone's schedule seems to be daunting in a murderer's row. I think this team could start 0-3, but then I could think they could go on a run and maybe win 4, 5, 6 of 7, 7 of 9. I really think they could really get hot. And I really think if they could just solidify the offensive line, they can beat anybody. So I'm going to say Cowboys 27, Ravens 24. I don't want to say the Ravens are going to blow a lead. I just think this will be a back and forth game where both offenses will make plays. I think Lamar will dazzle. I think Dak and CD will show up. Jake Ferguson should be back, as I mentioned. I think Brandon Cooks may even give you a few here and there. I think hopefully Zay Flowers, Andrews, Bateman, likely we get Justice Hill involved. I think this could be a fun game where guys get their stats offensively. I think the key is going to be who executes the best in the red zone. I think the Cowboys do a little bit better job. Finally get a win at home and win 27-24. Don't hate me. But I think the Cowboys win and the Ravens fall 0-3. But I'm not firing Harbaugh. And I'm honestly not panicking. I had this team at about 10-7. They could win the division or be a wild card, the last wild card. But I thought they were a playoff team. Like I said, I think even if they start 0-3, I could see them winning 5 out of 6, 6 out of 7, 7 out of 9, and going on a run, beating Buffalo, beating Cincinnati. You got the Commanders in there. You got the Giants in there. You still got your divisional foes, but I could see us beating Cleveland twice. I could see us beating Cincinnati. I could see us beating Pittsburgh. So it's going to come down to the end of the season, the back half of the season, the last 5 6 games, in my opinion. Let's get to the picks, because I did do picks. I've been doing picks at the end of these videos throughout the year. Week 1, we went 10-6, but last week we were the opposite. Same thing that makes you laugh, makes you cry. I always say that. I was 6-10, probably one of my worst weeks picking football games in my life. But week 3, I am, let's see here. I'm going with, let's go down the games real quick. Let me see if I can go down. While recording this, the Thursday night game is on. I did have the Jets winning that, so I do have the Jets winning that. I have the Browns over the Giants. I have the Titans getting that first one over the Packers, even though I know Jordan Love could play. I think he might need another week. Do I have the Colts over the Bears? I believe I have the Colts over the Bears. Yes, I have the Colts over the Bears. They're 0-2. They need a win. I have the Texans over the Vikings. I have the Eagles over the Saints. I think this is the Saints' first loss. I do like what they're doing, though. Steelers over the Chargers. Buccaneers over the Broncos. Raiders over the Panthers. Raiders are going to be 2-1. Seahawks over the Dolphins. Cowboys over the Ravens. 49ers over the Rams. Cardinals and Lions. I'm going with the Lions, but the Cardinals would not shock me if they won. I had them last week. They look really good. Big on Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. Going with the Chiefs over the Falcons, which I think will be a fun Sunday night game. Going with the Bills over the Jaguars on Sunday night or Monday night, doubleheader. And I'm going with the Bengals over the Commanders. So that would leave, if my picks are correct, the Ravens would be the only 0-3 team, along with the Giants and the Rams and the Broncos, and yeah, the Giants. Ugh, that could be ugly Monday morning if the Ravens are 0-3 and some of these other 0-2 teams win, and the Ravens are looking around at 0-3 and they're really at the bottom of the NFL, one of the 4 or 5 worst records. That would be something. But I think this is a 0-3 start, unfortunately, but I do think they'll turn it around and still get to about 9 or 10 wins. What say you, Ravens fans? What do you guys think is going to happen on Sunday in Jerry World? Are you going to the game? Are you going to see Jerry World? Are you doing the $1 billion playpen, the $1 billion play place? What are you looking forward to seeing out there? There'll be a couple hundred of them, if not a couple thousand, maybe even. Just what I know. So it should be a fun time. Be safe out there if you're going to the game in Dallas. Should be fun. I think the Ravens, they could very well win this game. And they could very well lose this game. It's the Ravens. You know how they are. They could be up by 10 and lose by 3. Or they could be behind by 7 or 8 and pull out a last-second field goal. I think it'll be another nail-biter, another close game. We'll talk about it on the Ravens post-game show. Make sure you join us for that after the game. Hit that bell. Make sure you bulldoze it to know when all content drops. Stick that like button. Helps us out tremendously. Make sure you stack that subscribe button. Join us if you're new. And sign up in the comment section. Give me your keys, players to the game, and your score prediction for this week. Let me know your picks as well. How'd you do? So far, I am at 500. So I am, 16-16, 32 games in. So we'll see if we can pick it up this week and get better. God's favorite host signing off. We'll see you for the Ravens post-game show Sunday evening. It's a 4:25 start. We got Brady and Burkhardt on the call. And we'll talk to you then. Stay tuned for more on the channel. Check out all the other videos. I'll see you guys later. Hopefully the Ravens can pull it out. But if not, not panic, Ravens fans. It's going to be okay. The Ravens are going to find a way, I think, to go on a run and be in the mix. We'll talk about it on the post-game show.